Have you ever wondered what truly lies behind the mysteries of the apocalypse? Amid the uncertainties of the modern world, apocalyptic revelations continue to spark curiosity and provoke intense debates. In this video, we will delve deeply into the mysteries surrounding these ancient prophecies, exploring everything from their enigmatic symbols to interpretations that span centuries. The goal here is not just to decipher ancient texts, but to invite you to rethink the role of faith and hope in times of crisis. Throughout this journey, you will discover how these stories, filled with powerful allegories and metaphors, dialogue with current challenges, opening space for transformative reflection. If you are seeking relevant answers and an understanding that goes beyond the literal, prepare to absorb content that combines history, theology, and the need for inner renewal. Stay with us and let each word lead you to a new perspective on humanity's destiny. Imagine the strength that resides in these texts, capable of crossing millennia and still resonating with our contemporary anxieties and hopes. Since ancient times, humanity has faced events and prophecies that seem to foretell the end of times. The apocalyptic revelations, rooted in the Second Temple period and the Judeo-Christian tradition, were conceived during times of great turbulence, when crises and uncertainties marked the lives of the faithful. Ancient manuscripts, such as John's Apocalypse, have been interpreted in various ways over the centuries, serving both to warn and to offer comfort during times of persecution and suffering. As the world transformed, so did the interpretations of these texts, adapting to new realities and different cultures. Theologians, historians, and scholars have found in them a rich treasury of symbols, numbers, images, and metaphors that reflect not only past fears and anxieties but also hopes for a renewed future. For example, the number 7 is often associated with perfection and completeness, reinforcing the idea that even in the darkest moments, there is a promise of divine order and justice. This number, present in various religious and cultural contexts, reminds us of the relentless pursuit of a balance that transcends chaos. Today, amid global challenges such as environmental crises, political instability, and disruptive technological innovations, ancient apocalyptic signs gain new resonance. They urge us to look beyond immediate chaos and seek a deeper understanding of the cycles of transformation that mark human history. By comparing historical contexts with contemporary realities, it becomes clear that apocalyptic revelations are not mere relics of the past, but an ongoing invitation to reflection and reinvention of our values and beliefs. The ability to draw valuable lessons from these ancient narratives depends on our willingness to question the present and seek a more promising future. In this part of the video, we will explore how the intersection of prophecy legacy and present-day challenges allows us to rethink and transform our reality, combining faith, reason, and the eternal longing for a more balanced and just world. It is an invitation to become active agents in building a future where peace and hope prevail. During periods of intense persecution and uncertainty, apocalyptic revelations emerged as symbolic responses to explain the adversities faced by faith communities. Historically contextualized within the oppressive environment of the Roman Empire, these narratives offered not only a portrait of difficult times, but also a vision of hope for a renewed future. Texts like John's Apocalypse, filled with powerful images, the Lamb, the Dragon, and the 4 Horsemen, served both as warnings and as comfort for persecuted Christians. The symbolism of these images was a way to communicate complex messages in an accessible and memorable manner, helping to keep faith alive even amid adversity. The symbols in these writings have multiple layers of meaning. The recurring use of the number 7, for example, refers to divine perfection and fulfillment, interpreted as an indication of the complete cycles governing existence. This symbolism extends beyond literal numbers to include the recognition of natural and spiritual patterns, transforming each element into a metaphor for the human quest for balance and transcendence. The richness of these symbols invites us to a profound interpretation, where each detail can reveal a new aspect of the message. Historically, apocalyptic revelations have served as resilience tools, allowing the faithful to turn moments of agony into opportunities for renewal and transformation. In times of deep crises, These texts offered a narrative in which every catastrophe was followed by a process of rebuilding and hope. Prophets and visionaries, by deciphering the signs within these writings, found ways to turn fear into action and to encourage communities to remain steadfast in faith. The leadership of these individuals was crucial in keeping the flame of hope alive, demonstrating that even in the darkest moments, faith's light could guide the way. Moreover, the multifaceted nature of these texts allowed for varied interpretations over time. While some scholars advocated for a strictly literal reading, others understood the writings as symbolic representations of internal human struggles. This diversity enriched the debate around the prophecies, establishing them as central elements in esoteric thought and in shaping spiritual values that continue to influence generations. The variety of interpretations testifies to the richness and depth of these texts, which continue to challenge and inspire scholars and believers alike. Therefore, the true message behind the secrets of apocalyptic revelations lies in their ability to unite past and present, transforming symbolism into a tool for a deep understanding of the human condition and the eternal battle between good and evil. It is an invitation for each of us to become agents of transformation, seeking light amid darkness. Interpretations of apocalyptic texts have a long-standing tradition of debate among scholars and theologians. For example, the reading of John's Apocalypse has opened space for two distinct perspectives: a literal view, where each symbol and prediction is fulfilled as described, and a more symbolic approach, which sees the prophecies as metaphorical expressions of humanity's spiritual and moral dilemmas. Choosing between these perspectives is a matter of faith and personal interpretation, each offering a unique view of the text's meaning. Renowned theologians have discussed the role of apocalyptic elements as reflections of the eternal struggle between forces of light and darkness. This battle, depicted through impactful metaphors and dramatic images, reinforces the understanding that chaos and order coexist in a dynamic balance. Classical and contemporary authors, many with extensive biblical interpretation experience, point out that prophecies serve as mirrors to the ethical and spiritual concerns of each era. Thus, the warning message in these texts is not merely a prediction of the end, but an invitation for personal inner transformation. It is a call to personal responsibility, encouraging us to be active agents in building a better world. Theological interpretation also considers the historical and cultural context in which these texts were written. The symbolism of images such as the opening of seals or the sounding of trumpets can be understood as representations of events that, although appearing as signs of despair, point toward the possibility of deep spiritual renewal. This perspective allows believers to see difficult periods as transitional phases, meant to create conditions for ethical and moral rebirth. It is a message of hope, showing that even in the darkest moments, faith's light can guide us. Interdenominational debates emphasize that regardless of the approach, the core of the apocalyptic message is a call to transformation. This perspective unites believers, encouraging them to maintain faith even in the face of the most intense challenges, while cultivating self-awareness and resilience. The richness of interpretations also lies in the text's ability to inspire not only fears but, above all, hope for a new beginning, where justice and peace reign. It is an invitation for each of us to become agents of transformation, seeking light amid darkness. Ultimately, the study of biblical and theological interpretations reveals that the secrets of apocalyptic revelations are closely linked to the human experience. A symbolic invitation to understand and face existential dilemmas, reaffirming the importance of faith in the search for greater meaning. It is a journey of self-discovery, where each of us can find the strength to overcome challenges and build a better future. In today's world, we are constantly impacted by events that, at first glance, seem to echo the scenarios described in ancient prophecies. Environmental crises, political instability, and global pandemics evoke the feeling that signs of the end times are multiplying around us. This perception, whether understood literally or symbolically, fuels heated debates and prompts deep reflection on what truly means facing a final, Many sociologists and experts note that current events resonate surprisingly with elements found in apocalyptic texts. The recurrence of natural disasters, rising social inequalities, and the volatility of the geopolitical landscape are seen as echoes of the ancient signs described in prophecies. Charts, maps, and statistics support this connection and intensify the fascination and fear surrounding the possibility of a radical shift in the world order. However, it is important to remember that these signs can be interpreted in different ways, and that faith and hope can guide us through uncertainty. Some argue that these events can be powerful metaphors for the need for transformation. From this perspective, signs are not mere predictions of inevitable catastrophes, but invitations for humanity to reevaluate its actions and seek new paths. Each disaster or crisis becomes an opportunity to rethink how we live and relate to the environment, politics, and our own ethical values. It is a call to action, encouraging us to be agents of change in our world. This duality of interpretation, between literal and symbolic, reflects the complexity of our era. While some groups claim to witness the exact fulfillment of prophecies, others see in current events a reflection of the contradictions inherent in the global social and economic system. Regardless of the approach, what stands out is the provocative effect of these narratives, which stimulate the search for answers and the creation of movements for social and spiritual renewal. It is an invitation for each of us to engage in building a fairer and more sustainable future. In this scenario, it is essential for each individual to ask, are we truly on the brink of a catastrophic end, or are the signs we observe symbols calling us to transformation? This reflection not only enriches the debate but also encourages a proactive stance, where personal and collective responsibility become the main drivers of change. It is a call for each of us to become agents of transformation, seeking light amid darkness. Although the apocalyptic narrative is widely rooted in the Christian tradition, many other cultures have their own visions of the end times and the subsequent renewal. In various Eastern traditions, for example, the concept of time is viewed cyclically, where the end of one cycle opens the door to the birth of another. This approach reflects the idea that renewal must first involve an ending, a natural process that drives evolution and regeneration. Indigenous cultures also offer rich, multifaceted narratives about beginnings and endings. Their myths, transmitted orally across generations, emphasize respecting natural cycles and living in harmony with the environment. In these traditions, destruction is not seen as a fatalistic apocalyptic event, but as a necessary step for restoring cosmic balance. This perspective invites reflection on the interconnectedness of all beings and the responsibility to preserve the earth for future generations. It is a call for each of us to become guardians of the planet, protecting nature and promoting sustainability. Beyond these perspectives, eschatology has gained new interpretations in contemporary contexts, especially with the incorporation of concepts from modern science. Theories about cosmic evolution, chaos theory, and nonlinear patterns, for example, resonate with ancient apocalyptic symbols, showing that the end of a cycle can be seen as a prelude to a new era of discoveries and profound changes. This intersection of science and spirituality broadens our understanding, offering a more integrated and holistic view of reality. It is an invitation for each of us to open ourselves to knowledge, seeking to understand the world in its entirety. Ultimately, considering diverse cultural perspectives on the end of times reveals that the true meaning of Revelations does not lie in the prophecy of total destruction, but in the possibility of a transformative new beginning. Each interpretation, whether millennial or contemporary, invites reflection on the importance of turning challenges into opportunities and viewing the closing of cycles as preludes to a new phase marked by peace and evolution. It is a call for each of us to become agents of transformation, seeking light amid darkness. After exploring the complexities and nuances of apocalyptic revelations, it is essential to reflect on how this knowledge can be applied in our daily lives. If you want to delve deeper into your reflections and find messages of hope and peace, be sure to visit the Príncipe de Paz channel. There you will find content that strengthens faith and invites inner transformation. Access it now and be part of this journey of hope and renewal.